I tell you to look right, look left, because the entire matrix is completely inverted, and everything that you've been taught about how female power works is a reversal of the actual natural order. I'm Brianna Cox, the Aligned Empress Coach. I initiate awaken women into their divine feminine power to embody wealth, love, and soul alignment. Today we are exposing how the natural order was actually flipped and how to reclaim our place on the throne as women. So in order for you to understand what was stolen from us, we have to go all the way back to the beginning. Before these solar cycles, before the matrix, before the hustle, to the primordial void. So for those of you who do not know what the primordial void is, what the void is, it is the darkness before creation. It is the dark womb. It is what the word matrix comes from. Maternal matrix, creatrix. Now, the void is always depicted as a female. We have Namu in Sumer, Aditi in India, Tiamat in Babylon, Nun in Egypt, aka Kemet, the Yami in ancient African traditions, Nuwa in China, and the list goes on and on. From the original womb, all physical reality emanates. That goes back to nearly every culture around the world. Now, I actually break this down much deeper in my ebook. If you haven't read it yet, it's called Into the Void, The Occultist Guide to the Primordial Womb, and you can find that on my website, thetantricdragoness.com, and I have that link down below. It's under the Empress Emporium with the rest of my offers. So the reason I'm bringing up the void is in all of these mythologies, you will notice a common theme. The female goddess is slaughtered or destroyed to split the waters in order to create the universe, or sometimes just the world itself. And then these male deities or male gods rise and they establish order. Now, on a purely occultic viewpoint or esoteric viewpoint, this is really symbolic for order out of chaos, because feminine energy is considered more chaotic. It is considered the darkness, the void, dark matter, the unconscious, the subconscious, the Luna. So it is wild and untamed by nature. This is where the masculine container comes in. But what has actually happened over time is what went from a matriarchal system of women being in positions of power, women being revered, goddesses being revered. This is being the original blueprint. This was hijacked. And then his story was given to us and told us the opposite, that God is a man, that men are to be in control, that they are to be submitted to under any situation. Now, of course, in modern times, this is not as much of a popular view as it was, back then. But the point is that this framework is false. It was a deliberate flip of the real order, the natural order. And let me give you an example in the physical reality of how this actually manifests. But first we're going to talk about the masculine takeover. Religious and political structures literally and systematically overthrew goddess temples. They destroyed sacred prostitution and high priestess rings. Now, these were not like prostitution rings like you would see nowadays, where women are enslaved and oppressed and addicted to drugs and things of that nature. No. These were sacred goddess cults where women had power to literally activate the kundalini of a man and to heal him, and to where he felt that the way for him to reach the goddess, to reach the creatrix, was to have intimate encounters with her. Women were the ones that were sought after for their wisdom in spiritual matters. They were the seers, they were the oracles, they were the midwives, they were the healers. And then all of a sudden, everything got flipped. They were vilified. Goddesses became demons. Healers became witches, which witch just means wise woman, but it became something that was vilified. All of this happened in a very short amount of time. But the way that it is cast, the shadow it casts across his story, implies that this has been going on much longer than it has. Now, I actually talk quite a lot about this in my previous YouTube channel, The Hebrew Mystic Healer, and I have mentioned this on this channel as well if you're interested in checking out those videos. So, what I would like to talk about is how everything that became associated with the female became something evil. The reason I said they tell you to look right, look left, is why left is associated with the female. Left is also considered negative. Did you know that I was born left-handed? And my grandmother, through Catholic tradition, even though she wasn't Catholic, she was raised Catholic, she believed that if I were to use my left hand, it was evil. Or it would interfere with my life. In a practical way, and in some practical ways, it would have, I suppose. But the point being is that negative association, right? So, she believed that I had to become right-handed. So, she literally tied my hand behind my back and forced me to learn how to do things with my right hand. Now, to this day, I am more so right-handed. Slightly ambidextrous, but I was born left-handed. So why is the left hand considered bad? Because it's associated with the female, with the feminine. Why is, and notice here, right, like the right way. It's not the left way, it's the right way, right? And if it's not the right way, it's the wrong way. This is exactly what I'm talking about. So, the left-hand path, right, is considered evil to those who follow the right-hand path. And it's associated with Luciferianism, Satanism, the Goetic path, the Tantric path, all of this. It's all about sovereignty. By going into the darkness of your unconscious to retrieve the truth, to heal, to integrate, to become your whole powerful self. It is actually one of the most deeply empowering healing journeys that you can make. But anything that gives you any kind of personal power or sovereignty is frowned upon in this society. They want you under control. They want you to follow a system. And this is where masculine energy representing order, this is where this has become toxic. It has become imbalanced. That is what the patriarchy has done, is it's taken something that was supposed to be a container to hold the energy of the divine feminine, because she is the chalice, she's the waters, right? In the chalice. He's supposed to be the chalice that holds it, to give it form, to give it formation. That's the order. Not all of this artificial bullshit and systemic control. So, if you look at some other examples, the number 13, which is associated with the womb, with the dark mother, is considered an unlucky number, to the point that hotels stopped having a 13th floor. There are 13 months in a lunar year. The original calendars incorporated the moon. Now, I'm going to break this down into biology as well. So, I'm going to tell you something that a lot of people don't know, and they are definitely probably not ready to hear. Men are supposed to serve women. That was the original design. I can prove it to you. Look at the biology of a man. He operates on the solar cycle, the 24-hour linear fast cycle. Okay? What cycle does woman operate on? The lunar infradian cycle, 28 day. Okay? To the point where her menstrual cycle is tied to it. The female system at a hormonal and emotional level thrives on oxytocin, which is the bonding and the safety chemical. So if a woman is forced into constant hustle, following that solar model of I get up when the sun goes up, I go to bed when the sun goes down, I do this, I do that, her body floods with cortisol, shutting down her hormonal balance and magnetic charge. By contrast, a man, his physical and mental health actually improves through goal-oriented pursuit, through challenges, and the protective hormone response of testosterone, vasopressin, and dopamine loops, which are activated when he is working, when he is providing, when he is protecting, when he is taking care of his woman and his family. Women can actually think and speak in more complex ways. Men, when they listen, for example, to a woman speaking, they can't even hear every single word. They string it together, they do a synopsis because their brains aren't even wired for that. Why? Because they're the hunters. They're not the gatherers, they're the hunters. They're the ones that go out and get the food and bring it back. Okay? Now, men are built for physical execution and labor. Look at the physical body of a man compared to a woman. And I'm sorry. This is why I don't consider myself to be a feminist, and I also don't consider myself to be a traditionalist. Because these are the lying pathways that we've been forced into, and the only option a woman has left is, to opt out of it altogether. Oh, I'm going to tell you that's not true, and we're going to get to that in a minute. But the point being is that women actually do better when they feel safe, when they are taken care of, when they can relax. So the receivers, look at their literal reproductive organs. They're built to receive, to hold the seed of a baby, to be a portal of life. They can actually take more pain than men because of that. And men have that more upper body strength in their upper body because that's what they are designed for. Okay? Now, if a woman was designed to serve a man, then she would have been physically stronger than him to be able to do all those things. See, patriarchy's got it backwards. They're telling everybody the lie. They're saying that, well, because he's physically stronger, he's superior. He should be in charge. They don't come out and say it like that anymore, but that's really what the patriarchy is saying subtly. And so what? There's an overcorrection, and instead of women taking up their power as women, they're trying to be like men. And men are trying to be like women. So here's the false matrix options. Okay, you have 3 paths as a modern woman. You can choose the first path, hyper-independent hustler, taking on the masculine role, overworked and overgiven, suffering from severe role overload. Because women do not thrive in those kind of environments. I'm going to tell you that right now. It's been proven. And the market and society as a whole is set up for the masculine model, not feminine. Path 2, the subservient, shrinking, suppressing her power, and believing she must be obedient or that she must earn love in order to be provided for. And then there's path 3, the checked out. Opting out entirely, just choosing to stay single and alone because who wants any of that nonsense? But here's the solution, okay? Here is the solution. So true sovereignty, true feminine power isn't about shrinking or overfunctioning, all right? It's about reclaiming your seat, your throne as a woman, that very throne that was taken from you through lies, through inversion, through patriarchal bullshit. We're reclaiming this, ladies. True sovereignty is alchemizing your dark and light feminine power. Because what happens when we get locked into this, when we get hyper masculine because we're trying to overcompensate, we're trying to be hyper independent, then we just kill our feminine energy. But then when we have the wounded feminine, then we are looking to be rescued, or we are opting out. So, the solution is to integrate your dark feminine. The dark feminine brings boundaries, self-worth, unapologetic authority. So that the light feminine, which is the grace, the ease, the childlikeness, can come out, can be more receptive, more magnetic. And she feels safe enough to drop the armor. She can be out of survival mode. So I talk about this in my masterclass, the Goddess Alchemy Masterclass, Awaken Your Dark and Light Feminine. It is on my website under mentorship and masterclasses. Definitely check it out. We unlock the 7 great goddess archetypes, both dark and light. We sift through all of the programming. We break it. We reverse it. We step into our power. We become magnetic to what we want. We sit on our throne. And alongside, we learn how to develop a healthy inner masculine, because all men and women have inner masculine and feminine, okay? So you've got to have that healthy inner masculine to create that what? That container for your feminine energy, to hold you, to take care of you, so that you can rest in your feminine energy. So definitely check that out, guys. So I want to talk about one more thing before I wrap up this video. And this is something that I've really been tapping into lately. So I do a lot of archetype work on my channel. You'll find it in my YouTube videos. You'll find it in my social media. You'll find it in my offers, like my ebooks, my quizzes, my masterclass, my coaching, all that. And I've talked about the different types of dark feminine archetypes and why it's important for us to unlock. But there's one I haven't talked about yet that I really want to touch on. And this is the Jezebel archetype, the Jezebel frequency, okay? If you jump on YouTube right now, you jump on social media, you type in Jezebel, I guarantee 99.9% of the information you get is vilifying women, like talking down and then making them feel bad. Like the term Jezebel is considered an insult, it's considered a stain. But the truth is that who Jezebel was, let's use the biblical texts, which are of course an amalgamation of older archetypes and older stories, okay? But let's set that aside and look at here. Let's unpack this. Who was Queen Jezebel? First of all, Jezebel is Jezebel, or Isabel in the modern tongue. But she was a Phoenician princess married to King Ahab. She didn't control him. She didn't manipulate him. She was protected and provided for by him, while commanding immense political influence and holding his ear. And this is why the church specifically and the patriarchal system in general fears the Jezebel frequency, because Jezebel has a commanding presence. It's subtle. It's not about control. A man willingly gives to her. A man willingly listens to her. A man willingly recognizes her in her authority. She is compared to Lilith, but she is distinct, because Lilith represents the untamed wild wilderness outside of society, the storm, the night. Jezebel represents sovereignty, strategic female power, and authority within royalty, marriage, governance, or even just within her empire. There's a reason why she was demonized. Now, what's interesting is the Bible, being an amalgamation of older texts, connects Jezebel back to her Phoenician roots in worshiping Baal and Asherah. But when you trace that frequency straight back, you will get to Ishtar and Inanna, the same type of archetype. Now, because Jezebel refused to dismantle her ancestral spiritual practices, and she refused to give up her queendom, she was demonized. And in the Bible, she was literally thrown to the dogs. Okay? Now, I want to connect this back to something very special that I have been thinking of and working on. I have been working with Jezebel root. Now, if you don't know what that is, in hoodoo and conjure and folk magic, Jezebel root brings rich men, brings provider men, and men that want to spoil you and do things for you. This is that energy, right? I started working with it recently. I've been wanting to work with it for a long time, but it found me only recently, and you would not believe the gates that it has opened. I've had more clients booking with me. I've had people tipping me. I've had free services when I go places. More men are wanting to date me. They're wanting to spoil me on, rich date, all this stuff. I had a man the other day ask me how much my rent was, because I'm pretty sure he's getting ready to pay it. So this is what I'm talking about. This is the power of that frequency. Now, what I'm going to be doing is holding a sacred Jezebel root ceremony very soon. This is going to be very exclusive for select women that are ready to resonate on this frequency to activate that Jezebel archetype. We're going to be doing real sacred ritual work, ladies. So if you are interested in this, definitely drop a crown in the comment section below. And stay tuned, because I will be letting everyone know when that application process is open, if you feel called to step into this frequency. Because it is a frequency that is most neglected. It is the archetype that is most repressed in the female psyche, collectively speaking, more than any other dark archetypes. Because even Lilith and the siren archetype, the succubus archetype, the vampire archetype, these are becoming more well-known and well-accepted. But Jezebel, on the other hand, she's still in the shadow. So, I hope that you found this video to be enlightening. If you enjoyed it, please give me a like, share, and subscribe. It helps me get out there. Comment down below if you have any questions. If you just want to say hi, definitely check out in the description below my offers, the different links. I really appreciate y'all. And again, this is Brianna, the Aligned Empress Coach, signing off.